Okay. Hope you are able to hear me okay. Can someone please confirm? Okay. Thanks. So as nobody have any other questions, so let's start learning few things in today's topic, and then we will start RE framework concept, and we will also touch base few of the methods in strings wherever it's needed, and also there are few interview questions which are asked for a basic level people like you, like 2 to 3 years of experience. So that I will cover in today's session. Today it will be a bit delay, like another half an hour. We will do it for 1.5 hours if you are all okay, or else we will close for 1 hour. So let's start with the first question in interview. The question comes up like this. Uh, the question is, what is the difference between or and in .NET? So whenever you are writing any logic, right? So if you would have already put some conditions in your if let's say if the customer name dot length is equal to 10, or if customer name is equal to so and so, so we would have put only one condition inside if activity, right? So now this another interview question is, what is or and what is and? That also you need to understand. Okay, so I'm seeing this question frequently, so that's the reason I'm bringing this to you people, so that you would be able to answer this. Hope you also know what is or, what is and, but let's do it practically. So I'm taking if condition, okay, and then here I'm saying true, and I'm saying and true. So what is true and true is, let's say we have one condition, if length is equal to 10, for example, customer name dot length is equal to 10, that's a condition. And we have another condition, let's say customer name is equal to so and so name. So if this condition and this condition is meeting, then it will go to then condition. So we will learn what is and, what is or, using this operator called and. So everything we will cover in today's initial stage. Okay, so let's see what's happening. I'm taking a right line activity. Here I'm saying true, just a success or else success case. And if it's not meeting that criteria, I'm saying failed case. Okay, so let's go and do this debug and understand by changing few things. First I have put and, like that we have and also, and we have or, and we have or also. So this condition is true, this condition is true. If both the conditions are true, it will go to success. Okay, so what we need to understand is, if both the conditions are true, then the condition is success. Let's say the first one itself is false. This is false and another one is true, and let's see what is happening. So one is false, so automatically it will go to false. So what how and operator or operator will work is, and if both are true, then only success. Not only both, let's say an if condition may have multiple conditions, right? If inside it true and true and true and true, all the conditions whatever you are putting inside if condition, if all of them are meeting, then it is a true condition. So I'm not putting any condition here, because you know you would have already put some conditions like length, if substring so and so, or you can say contains, or if it's equals, that you can try on your own. But ultimately if the condition, both the conditions are meeting, then it is success. Only if one is true and other is false, then it's failed case, because one, at least one is false, then the success condition is failed. So this is failed. Both of them should be true. But let's see what happens if I'm putting or. Okay, now let's run this. So you need to understand, in if condition we can put multiple conditions, we cannot restrict it for only one condition. Okay, so false or true, so at least one of them is true, then it is true. So what I'm trying to say here is, and will go and check both the conditions, or if at least one of the condition is true, then it is success case. Is that clear for you people? Or you, okay, fine. Everybody? Okay. So now we will slowly start RE framework. In RE framework, we will try to do some PDF automation, some email automations, all the learnings, whatever we have done. So let's say demo project. The project name we are saying demo project, and we are best just creating a RE framework project. So for that, I'm just saying create. Okay. So let's go and understand every component of RE framework like step by step, and when we are doing a project, this learnings will help you. Okay, so you are just a moment. Vanshika, able to hear me? Okay. Okay, so this is RE framework. So let's understand RE framework template as we are in the very beginning stage. So first we will understand this template. Whatever I am showing you at this moment, I have not done anything that everybody would have seen. I just went to this template section and then I selected RE framework. When I selected RE framework, automatically I see the code which is present here, which I have not done anything so far. So we will need to understand this template concept. So template is something which is already available. Okay, generally the template definition is which is already available, but one important point you need to understand is, but you can change that template according to your requirement. So what I mean by this is there is something which is already available for you, which is in RE framework template, but I'm not saying you should strictly go according to this template. There is a scope that you can change according to the requirement. So whenever somebody is asking you in your interviews, or somebody in the future, if somebody is asking you, can I change the things in RE framework? Yes, you can change the requirement according to the requirement. But if you need to change something in the template, or if you need to do any modifications in this RE framework template, the first goal you need to understand is understand what is RE framework, how they have developed this RE framework. First of all, understand what is this template. Then only you will be able to make any customizations or whatever you wanted to change, this second step. So today's session, mostly we will understand this template, then we will customize the template in the later on stage. And again, when you are taking any project training or anything like that, you will have more and more in-deep analysis on this template. Okay. So now this is there like this, which is already created template. Okay. So the first thing, whatever you are seeing here is called state machine. So one of our session, we have already started this concept in state machine. So state in RE framework is developed with state machine that you can clearly see here. Inside a state machine, you have multiple states, which is initialization state, get transaction data state, process transaction state, and finally end process state. So you would need to definitely remember all of these states names for sure, because most of the interviews they ask is, can you explain RE framework? Can you explain me how many states are there in RE framework? Can you tell me what is transition? How many transitions are in RE framework? For all of those questions, even you ask me before only, I will be able to tell you what is the question they'll ask you and what should be your answer for those questions in RE framework. This is a new recording. In the future also you can refer to this video. Okay. So the first thing, these things whatever you are seeing here has to be properly updated when you are working in a project. This is something is this is basically an annotation. Okay, so you can accordingly update. See, you can just do here, I am so and so person. So whatever you wanted to do it, you do it. But why do I need to put an annotation? Because for any activity, for example, if you just take one of the workflow, let's me show you. This is one of the workflow. Okay, so for any workflow, you just click on that activity or any activity and then do right click, and then you will have an option called annotations. So Annotations is very much important. Annotations will tell you your future developer. Let's say you are the developer. You have done something for so and so project. But let's say after you leave that organization or after you leave that project, somebody will pick up this project, right? So that person should understand just by looking at this title, what is the project name, what is the description of this project, who is the senior developer, who is the developer, who is the technical lead, in some cases who is the tester, and few details related to the project on an eye level you should basically mention here. Some of the recent projects I'm seeing this is missed, but this will definitely add. Let's say you should basically tell what is the project name, what is your project purpose, what applications are involved, and who's the contact. Because if you remember one of the session I told you, after your project goes to a maintenance stage, that means in the final end stage, let's say Sri Lakshmi is a developer. Okay, so after Sri Lakshmi completes that project, she would need to pick up another project. But what happens to her existing project? That will go to me. Let's say I am the support person. I'm working on the support projects. So I would be basically supporting this project. I should not disturb Sri Lakshmi again and again in the future because she has done. She has already completed the project. She has got the UAT sign off. She has got all the sign offs. That means it's done. And in future, if something is breaking or if something is not working as expected, that should go to support person. Let's say I am the support person. Now for me to understand, I should basically understand what's the details of this, what is what and everything. I'll get it from this, and also there are other documents also which are related to this project. Okay, not only that, to this, wherever possible, as a best practice, I'm saying it is best recommended to put annotations just to tell your co-developer or co-person saying, see, this is doing this. So understand it like that. Okay, that's about annotations. Now, first of all, like I have already told you, in RE framework, we have 4 states, which I have already showed you in its initialization state, get transaction data state, process transaction state, end state. But what is happening inside the states? Slowly, we will learn. Okay, but whatever statement I am making in this 1 2 3 next 3 days, every question I will cover in interviews. If you are having good knowledge in RA framework, there are 80% chances you will be able to clear the interview. I am sure about it. So understand each topic. I will go slowly only, but this is kind of tricky things also. So understand it properly. 4 states: initialization, get transaction, process transaction, end state. I am saying you again and again because that's the important of that question. Now, to connect between one state to another state, you will have this point called transition. Okay, when you just double click on this transition, you will have something. This we will see later on stage. But you would have seen you have connected one transition. This is second transition. This is third transition, fourth transition, and then bottom you will three another 3 transitions. So overall, 4 states and 7 transitions. Okay, whenever you do some certifications or some exams, quiz exams, first round they put a quiz question. They ask you this question: can you tell, like, can you select an answer from this list? 4 states, 7 transitions. That is how RE framework is developed on an eye level. If you see this, this is how RE framework will look like. So for clear, or do you want me to tell you any other point? Okay, now let me go to this first state called initialization. Okay, to go to initialization, I'll just double click on the state. When I double clicked on the state, you have the code which is here. Okay, now we have already seen when you drag a state activity, you will have this entry point, you will have an exit point, and then you will have the transition decision. Like after this is executed, where it should go, all of these things is transitions. So we will learn about this transitions step by step. So first is initialization. So it says in the initialization, it says reading configuration file and initialize applications used in the process. So what does it mean is there is a concept called configuration file. Okay, so in RE framework there is a config file located. I'll tell you where it is. Okay, just go to this project, click on this project, and then go to this file explorer, and you can go to this data folder, and then here you will have a config file. Okay, so bot should read a config file when it starts the processing. That is the first step robot will do when it is starting the process. Okay, so now what is this config, we will understand. So this config is nothing but whenever we are saying open browser, let's say www.flipkart.com or icicnetbanking.com or whatever website, you are doing it for practice. What if that URL is changed in the future? What if something you're trying to click, but that is not available at that moment? So those things which could change in the future, all of those field and those values has to be updated in this configuration file. Okay, for example, if you take this is already there in RE framework config folder by default. But if you want to add more and more things, we will add it in the config file that I will show you how to add the fields, how it will read the data. But for example, if you want to take just a Flipkart URL and then you just give the URL here, let's say www.flipkart.com. Okay, so what I did is I gave the field name, which is name, and then I gave the Flipkart URL website. And don't try to put any hyperlinks like this. So just remove the hyperlinks by control C and remove hyperlinks. So okay, config file, there are no hyperlinks. So this is called as configuration file, and robot will be able to read the config information at the very first step. And another important thing I would like to tell you here is when you create an RA framework, if you go to this documentation folder, you will see very clear understanding whatever I am discussing with you. Okay, in this next 2-3 days, whatever I will be telling you, every concept will be there in this folder, in this file which is properly documented. Okay, so maybe in the parallelly, or if you wanted to learn about RE framework separately with any folder, you need not search for any other documentation. Everything was already properly provided in this folder called documentation, and then inside you will have this documentation folder. You can also go through that. If you have any doubts, you can let me know. Okay, chalo, clear so far everybody? Okay, now we will understand this first state. Okay, so I just again I'll go from first. This is called initialization. So inside initialization I have this entry state. Inside entry state I have this try catch block. So we have already learned this try catch block concept yesterday, so I'll just retell you these points. Vanshika, in case if you would have missed seeing that video, I'm just telling you again which we discussed. Try catch finally, all the activities whatever you have in try, it will get executed. If there is any problem in try, it will go to catch. If there is no problem in try, when it is executing, it will directly go from try to finally without executing catch. That is the explanation about try catch block. Now let me see what they have put in try blocks. Okay, so to see that I'll have to expand this, so I'm just expanding this. Now let's go and see what is this system exception they have put as nothing. So what is system exception? You will have by default a variable name which is a variable type exception. So far you would have seen string variable type, integer variable type, boolean variable type, array of strings, something like that. Now in RE framework you would see different variety of variable types. Slowly we will learn everything. But as of now just understand there is a variable called system exception and the variable type name is exception. Okay, and then they have assigned it as nothing. So just I updated that system exception to nothing. Now this is very important. Okay, if first run read local configuration file, this is something we will target in today's session. So what is configuration file? What we need to do is, if it is first run, right, when you are triggering the robot, this is the first time it is triggered. So when it is triggered for the first time, obviously config is nothing. So what is config? Can somebody tell me where did you see config? The config is a variable. If you see variables here, if you see config, and then to this field, the variable type is saying dictionary of string comma object. So what is this dictionary? What is string comma object? All of those things we have never even seen, right? Dictionary concept we have never seen. So what is dictionary? Not in .NET or any programming way. In simple, what is dictionary? What is dictionary? No answer. Super. List of words and their meaning. So for example, let's take an example. With that example, what Sushmit gave, I have a dictionary. Okay, in that dictionary book, I have a page number. Okay, in any page, any book, we will have unique page numbers. It will start with 1 and then 2 and 3 and 4, like that, right? So these things, whatever we are seeing, the numbers, can I see page number 4 again in anywhere else in the book? Or can I do it like this: 101, 102, let's say employee ID 101, employee ID 102, and so on. Let's say 2029 is another employee ID. So there can be lot of people working in an organization. So ID, okay. So let's say 101 belongs to Sushmit, 102 is Sirisha or Vanshika or Sri Lakshmi. Everybody here has a unique employee ID, right? Now, let's say 101 is Sushmit. Can I say 101 as Krishna? Is that possible in an ideal scenario? Because unique ID. Can you give any other example which you can take it as a unique ID in a general scenario? Any example? And this is a unique ID, sir. I gave employee ID as one of the example. Email ID, super. Can I say name, Sri Lakshmi? Why? Similar, correct. So whatever you are learning, right? Employee ID, and employee email ID. This is a unique thing. If I'm sending an email to so and so email ID, let's say if I'm giving my email ID, other person cannot see that email because that email ID belongs to me. Employee ID that belongs to me. Employee code also super. Anything. Okay. Now hope you understood what is this concept I am telling. So employee code, employee ID. Can I say salary by any chance? Why? Okay. So salary, let's say if I'm drawing 75,000 for example, other person also may draw the same amount. There is a chance. So I cannot say salary is an key or a unique key. Salary can be same, name can be same, city. I'm from Hyderabad. Let's say other person can also be from Hyderabad. So location cannot be from same. So basically what I'm trying to tell you here is that concept of dictionary. Okay. So this one, if you see variable type, why I'm doing all of this drama here is to help you understand this dictionary concept with an example. Okay. So now I'll go back to this notepad. Now I'll just say dictionary. Whenever you are learning this dictionary or whenever somebody is asking you about, can you tell me about this dictionary concept? Can you tell me about config variable in RA framework? Can you tell me what is the difference between key and value? For all of these three questions, same explanation, whatever we are dealing now. Okay. A dictionary is of key and value. That is first thing you need to understand. So what is key? Key is unique identifier. Value is something, a value corresponding to key. Example, ID is 101, name is Susmit, and another person ID is 102 and name is also Susmit. So two Susmits can be there. That should not be any problem, but ID has to be different for two different Susmits. Okay, now let's do these things whatever we have discussed now in a practical way. Okay, for to show you everything practically, and then I'll again come back to this stage where we are stopped at this moment is reading the configuration file in RA framework. Only after I show you that practical things, again I'll come back here and then I'll start from here. For that I'll take a new sequence. Here I'm saying dictionary concept. Okay, I'm telling a dictionary concept. So when we are creating a new workflow, everybody know no variables, no arguments. So complete fresh workflow. Now let's start. I'm creating a new variable. Okay, I'm creating a new variable. Let's say employee data. Okay, just employee data is a variable name. Now what are we learning? We are learning dictionary concept. Now let me click on this variable type, and then you already have this dictionary variable. But if it is not there, okay, if it is not there, what should you do? Click on browse for types. If it is not there, I'm saying click for browse for types and type dictionary. When you type dictionary, you would see this inside MS Core Lib saying dictionary key and value. Okay, now you should decide what is the key, what is the value. So in this example, what is the key? In this example, what is the key? Can somebody tell me if it is an ID which is 101, which variable type it may belong to? Is 101 a string or integer or boolean or what? Integer. Integer. So just you click on this drop down and select integer. Okay, clear so far? Please respond. If you're silent, I would understand that you are not understanding or I'm not teaching you accordingly. Integer, everybody understood. Why did I select integer here? Now, next thing. Name is Sushmit. Or name can be Sri Lakshmi, name can be Nirmala or any other persons. Now, if I'm saying name equal to so and so, what should be my drop down value here? Which variable type? Go to this drop down, select string, and then say OK. The moment you do this step, automatically your variable type is ready with dictionary of integer comma string. Okay, clear. In RE framework, we are using this dictionary of string comma object, but I am not touching this dictionary of string comma object now. To help you understand dictionary, I am taking integer comma string because we are dealing with that employee ID and employee name scenario. So this is our dictionary. So far, so clear. Everything is ready. Our dictionary is also ready. Now let's start the things. Now let me build this ID equal to so and so, name equal to so and so. Let's do that. For that, what you need to learn is you need to basically say employee ID is so and so variable. Here you can just say, just assign the default value as new dictionary of, just a new dictionary of string. Sorry, this is an integer, right? So new dictionary of integer, comma string. Okay, just assign an initial default value as employee ID, whatever we are creating with a variable type dictionary, and say default value is new dictionary of, we are giving integer and string, just say new dictionary of integer, comma string. That's it. Now done. Now what we shall do is just take assign activity. Now what is my first task? I want to assign one ID 101 to Sushmit. What I will do is, what is our dictionary name? What is our dictionary name? Employee data. But the mistake I've done is, whenever you are creating a dictionary, always put a dictionary name like this, DICT underscore employee data. Other than config dictionary, rest everything wherever you are creating in your project, just say dict underscore employee data. Okay, now my dictionary is ready. Now, how do I assign a value to that dictionary is just in this two section. Okay, in this two section, here you say dict employee data. Inside bracket, here I'm, let's say for example, if I'm giving double quotes 101, and then I'm saying okay, and then in the 101, whose name I want to assign? I want to assign Sushmit's name. Let's say I'm saying Sushmit. It is showing me error. Can somebody tell me what did I do wrong when I'm assigning dict of employee data 101, I'm assigning to Sushmit? What would I have done wrong? And then I'm also showing you error. Okay, let me ask first Sri Lakshmi. Sri Lakshmi, so now can you tell me what should I do? Okay, I'll ask Sushmit. No, no, that's wrong, Lakshmi. Sushmit, Sushmit, you're saying something? No, this is already string. See, basically my task is assign a key to this so and so person. So my key is integer, but I put 101. Dict employee ID of double quotes 101. So this one, whether you should put double quotes or not to put double quotes will depend on the key whatever you are selected. Here we said dictionary of integer comma string. So integer, if it's an integer, you say integer value like this. Dictionary of 101 is equal to Sushmit. Okay. Now if I'm taking another assign activity, okay, if I'm saying dictionary of employee data, here again I'm saying 101. Okay, for this 101 person, the employee ID 101 person, let's say I'm assigning it to Nirmala. Now the same question has come for me in certification. The dictionary of 101 is equal to Sushmit. Dictionary of 101 is Nirmala. Now what will happen? If I'm trying to see what is the value I have, how do I display the first of all before I do this step? Okay, before I do this step, let me show you how do we retrieve the value from a dictionary. To retrieve the value from a dictionary, it's a simple thing. Just take a right line activity and then here you say dictionary of employee data and then inside bracket you say 101. Whatever key value you wanted. I want for 101 if I want, I will say 101 dot toString. So now if I'm running this, so dictionary of 101 is equal to what value is there, it will go and retrieve me that data. So let's see it's there, Sushmit. So if it is 102, let me take employee data of 102. Can somebody guess what could happen? We have assigned a dictionary with 101 is equal to Sushmit, but I am trying to display for 102 person. What happens? Let's see. The given key was not present in the dictionary. To be frank, I have worked for almost many multi bots in production. This is very commonly seen exception log in orchestrator. Like I said, I was telling you many times, I would see orchestrator logs to understand the robot failures, what went wrong in the robot. Many times I have seen this message, the given key was not present in the dictionary. And an exception type, given key not found exception. Like selector not found exception. We have seen a lot of exceptions. This is another type of exception, key not found exception. And you know the reason also. We have not put any value to this person for 102, but we are trying to retrieve the name of that key. 102 we have not even done so far. If I say 102 is equal to Sushmit, that anyhow we will get the Sushmit value. Right? Now let's do it like this. Now employee ID is 101. I'm assigned to Sushmit, and again I have employee ID 101. I'm assigning it to Nirmala. Let's say I want to display the value assigned for 101. And the options for you is it will display you Sushmit, it will display you Nirmala, it will throw an exception. Okay, Sri Lakshmi says Sushmit, and next I want all the answers from all the people. Sushmit says it will show Nirmala, and Nirmala, what is your answer? Okay, Sushmit, and Vanshika, sorry, what did you say? Sushmit, okay. So I am debugging this. I clicked on this debug point, and in our course, I have divided this concept of debugging and exception landing in the same way. But debugging is not a different a new topic. Whatever I'm doing here, like step into, putting a breakpoint, these are all the debugging skills you should have. So I'm not taking a separate session for that. But if you need anything, we will do it in the later on stage. Okay. So now we have a dictionary. So far, so good. For the dictionary, I am having dictionary of 101 is equal to Sushmit. So I'm doing step into. So dictionary name is assigned as Sushmit. So let me display what is there in dictionary. We have dictionary of integer comma string, which is 101 of Sushmit. So now I'm again updating for 101 value to Nirmala. I'm doing step into, and then again I'm saying number of people there in this dot count. So we have only one count, even though we have two assign activities. The count of this dictionary is one only. And let's see what is the value in employee data of 101. And the answer is Nirmala. So what would have happened is, initially we have assigned integer of 101 for this employee ID Sushmit. So due to some reasons, Sushmit left that organization, for example. Now I want to give that employee ID to this person, which is Nirmala. Now if I'm retrieving that data, the answer would come Nirmala. The same example, I would give another example. Let's say I'm using a phone number. Now let's say that phone number is assigned to me. Now let's say after 1 year, I'm not using that that particular mobile number. So that service provider has given that particular mobile number to some other person. Now in the future, if somebody call that mobile number, it will go and call some other person, because this person is not using that mobile number. This person is using that mobile number. Now when I call that mobile number, it will call Nirmala, not Sushmit. Hope this is clear. And this will not throw an exception. Nobody from this group told me it will throw an exception, but many of my previous session people have told it is an exception, sir, but this is not going to throw you any exception, because employee ID, that particular value will be updated, and then that is how it's there. You can see it here. Clear? So if I wanted to assign another person, simple, let's say dictionary, and now 102 employee, and then here I can say Sri. Okay, now your 102 was updated. This is a new person, and also you can retrieve the number of people available, number of key values available. For that, I can say dictionary employee data dot count. If it's an integer, dot to string. And then if you quickly do run file, now there are 2% with 101, 102. So total you have two people. So the count should show you 2. So how do you display the count of your employee count? Count is gonna give you like this 2. And then finally the value of 101 is Nirmala, and then you are done. So this is how the key value concept in the dictionary variable type will work. If you are all clear with this topic, then only I can go to RE framework and show you that config related thing. That config, what is that variable, how it's there. If you are not understanding, even if I tell you for one continuous week also, you will not understand what they have done inside this workflow. If you are clear with dictionary concept, then I will explain you initialization all settings. If you want, again I'll tell you. Okay, great. So now let's go back to our RA framework concept. So here config is nothing. So what is config? What is config? We went to variables, and so config is dictionary of string comma object. So if it is a string comma object, what is key? If it is a string, key is string, object is value. Correct? So what is string and what is object is, if you go to this config file, whatever you are finding in the name, which is this is key. Okay, in the column B, it is value, which is of object. So first understand what is this object thing. Why did they put dictionary of string comma object? That we will understand. String means everybody knows. I will not explain much about it. What is object? Object means, if you don't know whether it will come an integer, whether it will come a boolean, whether it will come a string or any other variable type, whether you don't know which particular variable will come there, then in that case you should say object. Here we have selected integer and value, right? The same thing here, if you don't know whether it will be integer or value or whatever, then you would say object. So if it's an object, you can put here in the config file, you can say just say is male. If it's in a male, then say true. This is also possible. A robot will be able to read this particular line. If it's a string also it will go and read a content from here. If it's an employee ID, and then it will also retrieve the number. So basically it will go and retrieve even it's a number, if it's boolean or whatever, it will retrieve the data from that cell. That is the reason you can see dictionary of string comma object, which is of dictionary type. So config, we have understood the string comma object concept. Now before it loaded something, right? Before, if you see here, so before we have assigned anything to dictionary, what happens? What will be there in dictionary? When it just started this concept, I'm saying dictionary of employee data dot count. The count is 0 because we have not even assigned anything. If I'm doing step into, then only it will assign Sushmit record to this dictionary. So count is 0. Or else if I display this, what is there here? It says nothing. You don't have anything here. The same concept in RE framework they have put. If config is nothing, so obviously first time when you launch the robot, config is for sure nothing. If it is nothing, what happens? It will go to this condition because this if condition is true. If this condition is true, it will go to this condition and then it will go to this initialization all settings workflow. If you just open this initialization workflow, this is what I am gonna tell you with this, which is referring to this concept, whatever we learned in dictionary concept. So new dictionary of string comma object, I told you to assign or initialize that particular variable. You should say new dictionary of integer comma string when we have done in our example, but here it's string comma object, so they said new dictionary of string comma object. They would have done it here also, but for argument it will, you cannot put a value. Okay, for argument you cannot put a default value if it is an out direction. That is the reason in RA framework by default it's assigned it like that. Now, what it is doing here, for each and every Excel sheet. Okay, for each and every Excel sheet, they are reading the data from an Excel and then assigning a value to this config file. If you see out of config of underscore bracket key, row of name. So this is basically row of that particular name. So for what is the first key? Orchestrator queue name. This is the first key. And what is the value? Process ABCQ is the value. So row of value is the value, row of name is the key. It's assigning a values to the dictionary. Okay. So for all the records available in that Excel sheet, for example, this is the first sheet, it will add all of this name and value, next name and value, next name and value. If you have any records here, it will go and update it. That logic is there in initialization all settings workflow. And I want everybody to put a breakpoint at this step, which is at this step, and slowly step into and come to this XAML and understand what it is doing in initialization all settings. If I do it with you in this session, then it would be like temporary thing for you. If you do it from your side, you will understand lot of things in this workflow. But ultimately what I am trying to tell you here is this get, I mean initialization all settings will initialize, populate and output a configuration dictionary. So you know what is dictionary, you know what is configuration. Configuration is this file data. So it will go and get the data from this Excel and then update that values to this dictionary. Throughout the project it will use that particular dictionary. Okay, so this config is a very powerful thing in RA framework. This config, whatever you are getting it here, right? This config, whatever you get here, we use this across the project. So how to retrieve the data from that config file, how to add the values to that config file, and how it is passing these values back to this particular place where we have invoked. Until initialization all settings, I want everybody to do debug and understand what it's doing here. Okay, clear? Or anybody you want me to repeat anything one more time? Are you there with me? See what I'm trying to tell you here is I want you to go and understand what it is there in initialization all settings XAML step by step. Like what's the logic there by doing. For example, let me show you what I'm trying to tell you here. I have put a breakpoint here. Config is nothing. I want to do this debug. I clicked on this play button. So I am at this place. It says config is nothing. So when it says config is nothing, understand what is there in config. It says null, so nothing. Step into, and then it's giving you some log, and then it is going inside initialization all settings XAML. So do step into, and then you understand what is there inside this workflow. So in it all settings, you have this config ready, and what is this for each is doing. From where did you get this in underscore config sheets argument? You see here you have an argument in config sheets. So I want you to understand step by step what it's written there. And with that learning, whatever you have done, whatever you have understood, I will add more points to that concept. Like what I'm trying is to tell you, do debugging like this, do step into. Now which sheet? Let's see what is there in sheet. Now it's a settings sheet. So settings is here. Now what is the first row? Orchestrator queue name. Do step into read range. So it will completely read the data from that Excel, but it is throwing me an error. Anybody can tell me why it is throwing me an error? It says because it is being Excel file is open, so I should close this Excel file. After you close it, you will have this option called retry. You can just click on this retry. So this time it's closed, so it will okay. It was very fast because it already read the data from the initialization settings, and then it went to get transaction data, which is very far. So in it all settings, it read the data, then it is assigning a value to the dictionary, and then also it is assigning a asset values to the dictionary. So I want you to go and read this workflow, what they have written by doing step into, step into, step into, and understand workflow. Okay, that is your task after this session. Whenever you are free, up to init all settings, I want you to understand what is there in this workflow. Okay, after that, what happens is generally queues concept also I will bring. For that, I would tell you how to set up with your queue orchestrator and everything when we start tomorrow. So after you launch or connected to this orchestrator, we will step by step understand all of these workflows, what is killing, how do we open and everything. Okay, so for now, what I would tell you here is initialization work state, right? Whatever we are doing now. In this initialization, we will mainly focus on reading the data from config file. Okay, that I already asked you to do it or look into today. Next thing is opening applications. What is opening applications is, let's say I wanted to open a client's website and download a report from that website. So downloading the report logic, you will not write in initialization logic or in this initialization state, but to open that website, you will have to do it in the initialization state. So in this initialization state, whatever we are having it here in this place, we will basically open that application. Okay, next, after you read the data, after you open the applications, if you want to, if needed, robot can close any existing applications like Excel, Chrome, those things. So what is this is, in case if you wanted to deal with an Excel or something like that, but if you want to close all the Excels already open, you can also put that logic to close all the existing Chrome, Excel, Internet Explorer, whatever, before you open the applications. That is also possible. So these things we will understand from tomorrow's session, practically how to do it, how to understand reading the data, config, close the things, open an application, everything we will do it in that stage. Okay, so I think RE framework I will not much continue in today, because after you continue or learn init all settings, then only tomorrow I will teach you the next concepts. If you are okay, I have few questions to ask you related to few interview questions. If you're all okay, I'll start that. Okay, my first question is for Sri Lakshmi. Can we insert a sequence activity inside a flowchart activity? Yeah, my question is, my question is, can you insert a sequence activity inside a flowchart activity? Yeah. Can we do that, or will uipath allow me or not allow me? Yeah. Okay. Can you do it like practically, if your uipath is open, can you just see if it's possible or not possible? Meanwhile, I'll go to other person. Sushmit, for you, next question is, which activity can you use if you want to loop through a collection of items? Okay. And the next question is, if you have array of strings, okay, a string of arrays. So if you want to display each person's name one by one in that string, or each value from that array one by one, what are the activities can you use? I've not brought anything related to data table here. I said array of strings. So get row item mandatory, you'll have to pass data table. I said it's already assigned. My question is to show me the values available in that string, array of string. So I need that list of activities. For that, I want you to create an array of strings, just say student names, Sri Lakshmi, Vamshi, or whatever, and I want you to display those each person's name one by one. And my question is, what are the different activities can you use? So I want you to do this exercise. Okay. Next question is for Vanshika. Vanshika, question is, the question in the certification, the question will come like this. What activity should you use to select one choice from multiple choice based on the value of given expression? Or I want you to explain this concept called switch activity. So how switch activity will work? Any idea, Vanshika, switch activity? Okay, no problem. Anybody, Nirmala, can you answer to this question? How does switch activity will work? Yeah, so both of you, Vanshika and Nirmala, I want you to basically use the switch activity. For example, if location, you can just create in when you are creating a switch, it'll look case. Okay, so there you can say location Kolkata. I also done this exercise when we are doing this example. In the case, you can say Hyderabad, Kolkata, Chennai, Mumbai, and if it is Sushmit, then display Kolkata. If it is Sri Lakshmi, show let's say Vizag. If it is Vanshika, let's say Hyderabad. So if based on the person, I want you to display that right line accordingly. So please do this exercise from your side. And next question. Next question is for Sushmit. Sushmit, can you speak about UI Explorer? Mm-hmm. So, okay, great, great, good answer. So, what are the different things you have done manually? Let's say you have already a selector. So, based on your experience, so this is how the question comes the moment you say that answer. So, just understand, not Vamshi here, I'm an interviewer. So, the moment you say manually, I've done some changes in that selector. So, what are the different manual changes you have done? Can you give me a few examples? Radio button. Mm-hmm. Okay. So these things you are saying you have done in UI Explorer. Other than that, can you list out any more things? Sushmit, just remind me about wildcards concept in selector. In case you have no, I missed, I will also tell you what is wildcard in UI Explorer. Okay. Mm-hmm. Validated. Okay, got it. Got it. Good. Thanks. Vanshika, Vanshika, we are saying about selector, 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 and all right. Can you help me understand what is selector, Vanshika? పర్లేదు చెప్పండి తెలుగులో అయినా సరే మీకు అర్థమైంది చెప్పండి మనిషికి ఇట్స్ ఓకే I'll stop recording as well.